We're here to have a little bit of a closer look at this 60s vintage harmony baritone ukulele. Made in America, somewhere between the 50s and 60s, perhaps a little bit later. Probably the most ubiquitous of the American baritone ukuleles. Not just because Harmony was a prolific maker, but because they were really built to last, these instruments. Not so built like a brass battleship, so they were totally inert. Far from it. They're very resonant and quite loud. Got a nice tone in my view, a nice sonorous woody tone. And because they were so solidly built, they stood the test of time. This one hasn't had a lot of use, you can tell that by the unworn fretboard, but it has had its good share of little scrapes and dings and so forth, but there's no real damage, certainly no open seams or major cracks. There is one tiny little hairline crack there on the edge of the lower bout, about an inch long, but it's inert. It doesn't look as though it's going anywhere, so I don't think it needs repairing. Certainly doesn't need refinishing. As you can see from this, it's in sort of eggshelly varnish, which is quite nice. Got kind of a idiosyncratic shape, the harmonies. You either like it or you don't. I guess I like it very much. I've got a couple that I play myself, plus a regal made in the same mould. It's got a very attractive binding there, which when you look close you realise is not just brown, it's imitation tortoise shell celluloid, which is very attractive. Got a rosewood bridge with a bone saddle and a rosewood fingerboard and a bone nut. So-called non-slip pegs, which when adjusted, okay, hold the strings in pretty good tune. The new set of Aquila strings. Part of the design I think is quite attractive is this squared off peg head. Compared to a lot of the other makers, especially Martin, I think they made a monumental blunder when they went with a Hawaiian sort of spiky peg head, which frankly looks a bit silly to me, but that's a personal view. We're really here to see what this sounds like, and as you see, I think it sounds quite loud and resonant, nice woody mellow tone on it. And to show it off to its best advantage, I'm going to play something that I think is atypical, because the baritone ukulele is very similar to some of the South American and Mexican instruments of this size and stringing. In particular, the Veracruzana and the Requinto Jarocho. So I'm going to play a little Mexican tune, although it was written by an Irishman. It's called South of the Border, Down Mexico Way, and to pick out the melody I'm going to use a thumb pick, which leaves my fingers free to strum the chords. South of the border, down Mexico way, that's where I fell in love when stars above came out to play. And now as I wander, my heart ever strays south of the border, down Mexico way. She was a picture in old Spanish lace, and for a tender while I kissed the smile upon her face, for it was fiesta, and we were so gay. South of the border, down Mexico way. And she sighed as she whispered mañana, never dreaming that we were parting. And I lied as I whispered mañana, for our tomorrows never came. South of the border, I rode back one day. There in a veil of white, by candlelight, she knelt to pray. But the mission bell told me I mustn't stay. South of the border, down Mexico way. I I